Fans have turned against Blake Lively on social media, and others are wondering if she deserves it or not. The suits are going off the walls wild. Justin's countersuing, and Blake seems to be in a corner, so who's coming out on top? In the wake of a dispute with Justin Baldoni, the star's social media pages have become a hotbed of critical comments, some more cutting than others. A recurring jab from detractors that Blake should don the same floral outfit she once recommended for a seriously movie, only this time she should wear them to her courtroom appearances. The quip is mean-spirited, but it reflects the heated atmosphere around this entire discussion. I mean, even before the recent flurry or negativity, Blake was making headlines due to her involvement in a wide-reaching standoff. According to public court documents, Blake and husband Ryan Reynolds are now facing a countersuit from Justin in which he accuses them of orchestrating a plan to damage his career. He insists that these claims emerged after he co-starred and directed a film dealing with heavy content, a project that apparently became the breeding ground for disagreements between the performers and their teams. The seeds of discord reportedly surfaced in late December 2024, when Blake filed her own suit alleging Justin emerged in behavior she found deeply troubling during production. So then Justin swiftly denied all these accusations and followed up with a new set of claims against Blake and Ryan. He contends that the power couple leveraged their considerable influence to sideline him, overshadowing his contributions to the film and harming his professional standing. So fans and casual observers are now watching a multi-layered feud in which both sides proclaim their innocence while painting the other as the aggressor. So the internet, never short on any sort of opinions, has erupted with commentary, especially under Blake's social media posts. One of her Instagram uploads, an interview she did with a major fashion outlet on December 12, 2024, has been bombarded with biting remarks. Among them, variations of the phrases, "Don't forget to wear florals in court," keep popping up, referencing the time Blake suggested fans wear bright prints when they saw the film in theaters. For critics, the suggestions seem to trivialize the film's darker elements. Now they're bringing that same sentiment into the legal realm, questioning how a star could promote a movie with serious themes using a lighthearted fashion tip. Like, it just doesn't really make much sense, and it's kind of offensive to some people. So one individual took aim at Blake's online persona by writing, "It's not a plan to drag you through the mud, we honestly just can't stand you." Damn. Meanwhile, another sniped, "How are lawsuits going to fix your attitude from interviews? You were unpleasant way before this movie." Okay, wow. These are all sarcastic well-wishers. "Congrats on your career-ending bump," posted one other person who was obviously talking about her personal life and relating it to this whole lawsuit. Most likely, if everything was true, sabotage her career. So anyways, in Justin's most recent lawsuit, which emerged on January 16, 2025, the actor-director levels a variety of claims at Blake and Ryan. One of the most notable passages references a scene where Justin and Blake were performing a dance sequence for the film. Justin states that Blake abruptly broke character to mention the scent of her tanning products.
I'm probably getting a spray tan too.
That smells good.
According to him, this was a lighthearted aside that should have been inconsequential. But then Justin alleges Blake made remarks about his nose, humorously suggesting he consider surgery. The court filing asserts that any unseemly insinuation about Justin's behavior in that scene is baseless. In fact, the suit claims the entire interaction was caught on microphone and video, supposedly revealing that the real inappropriate statements came from Blake's side, not Justin's. In his telling, he was simply saying in character, whether she was the one repeatedly cutting off the scenes to make jokes.
You can butt in if you want.
So of course, Blake paints a starkly different picture. In a December 2024 filing, she described the same scene as an instance where Justin stepped out of professional bounds. Blake stated that she felt him leaning forward and make remarks about her set, while slowly moving his face near her neck. She insists that this wasn't part of the script, had no place in the scene's context, and left her uneasy. According to the statement, she later objected to these actions, only to have Justin perpetually respond that he was never interested in her in the first place. Ooh, okay. Now, the contradiction between Blake's account and Justin's sits on the heart of their dispute. Each party claims video or audio evidence will vindicate their perspective once it's scrutinized in court. For now, the public remains divided, with fans speculating on which side is telling the truth, because it's just a lot of he said, she said right now, right? Things took another dramatic turn when Justin, in his countersuit, specifically named Ryan. He suggests that Ryan played a major role overshadowing Justin's contributions to the film and ultimately tarnishing his professional image. While the exact nature of Ryan's involvement isn't spelled out in detail in the documents, Justin's team insists that the couple use their influence separately and together to basically shift the movie's final shape and hamper Justin's creative authority. Some find the claim difficult to swallow, pointing out that Ryan typically keeps things humorous and upbeat in public. Others say that behind the comedic veneer, there might be a more serious side when it comes to protecting Blake's interests. So I guess we'll have to find out what that truth really is. Now, one especially eye-catching claim in Justin's lawsuit deals with the film's star-studded premiere on August 6, 2024. Justin claims he was directed to remain out of sight, ultimately confined to a basement lounge area alongside his friends and family.
I literally was sent to the basement with all my friends and family for over an hour.
According to him, this was done to keep him from mingling with other cast and crew and on the red carpet. Now, the filing paints a picture of Justin, a central figure in the film's creation, feeling marginalized at his own event. He views it as another example of Blake's team pushing him aside, though Blake and Ryan have not publicly addressed the specific situation, so we'll see. Compounding the friction, the movie itself deals with difficult relationship dynamics. For many, it felt off when Blake suggested wearing floral prints on or naming a novelty cocktail in promotion of a film with deep undercurrents. Justin's latest action points to these promotional choices as further evidence of tension, accusing Blake of not only taking the project's seriousness to heart. Meanwhile, Blake's supporters argue she used those tactics to lighten the mood and draw audiences while never intending to diminish the film's complexity. What's striking is how quickly online discourse has devolved into remarks directed to Blake. References to florals in court, jokes about ending her career, and glee over the possibility of watching a trial live stream have overshadowed the real issues at play. Some might argue that the drama around her public persona is more talked about than any claim weirdness that happened on set. Observers note that Hollywood watchers often real-life melodrama, especially when it involves big-name stars. Whether that's fair or not is another question entirely. Blake's representatives maintain she's the real target of wrongdoing, and her claims were made in good faith based on legitimate concerns. Justin's lawyer, Brian Friedman, has strongly rejected this version of events, contending that the star is spinning a narrative to shield herself from public disapproval. Friedman also warns that their team has an abundance of raw footage, emails, and texts that will paint a very clear picture of the events. So both sides appear entrenched, and each new filing only ratchets up the hostility. Some people suspect that the situation drags on, it may result in depositions, document leaks, and perhaps even private communications becoming public. Meanwhile, fans of the film, of the novel that inspired it, have found themselves torn between supporting Blake or Justin, as the discourse on social media rarely allows for nuance. It's also worth noting that the impact on the larger industry, the insiders quietly discuss whether the behind-the-scenes conflict might deter studios from pairing these stars in future projects. Public bickering and extensive suits can sour relationships, not just between the parties involved, but also among, potential collaborators who fear the fallouts of working with either side. For Blake, the repeated suggestions to wear florals in court show how quickly a marketing pitch can backfire when the atmosphere turns around. And for Justin, the frustration lies in feeling like his creative contributions to the film are overshadowed by what he views as inaccurate stories. Whether the matter reaches a final resolution through legal rulings, settlements, or further public revelations, it's remained to be seen. With social media fueling the flames and each filing adding new wrinkles to the story, this real-life drama may continue to grip tabloids, fan forums, and gossip columns for more time to come. Justin Baldoni's female fans take photos with him to support him against Blake Lively, and people are surprised by the result. Alright, let's talk about the man who got thrown under the bus by Blake Lively, Justin Baldoni. You know him, the heartthrob from Jane the Virgin, producer, podcast host, and all-around good guy.
Daddy to Maxwell and Maya, and husband to Emily.
But lately, he's been making headlines for all the wrong reasons. Accusations, suits, Hollywood drama, it's been a wild ride for him. And yet somehow in the middle of all this chaos, his female fans are showing up to support him. So let's talk about it. Picture this, Justin Baldoni steps out of a grocery store in Maui, and out of nowhere, a wave of fans rush up to him, mostly women, and they're not just saying hi. No, they're actually pulling out their phones, putting their arms around him, and snapping selfies like it's a whole meet and greet. Now, Justin could have easily brushed them off. After all, he's going through a lot right now, but instead he decided to, put a big smile on, pose for the photos, chat with them, and pretty much just make everyone's day. Honestly, it's like he's out there just trying to win the nicest guy in Hollywood, despite all the stuff going around that hasn't been officially proven yet. Now, speaking of storms, let's address why this is so surprising. If you've been following the news, you know that Justin is in the middle of some serious claims, made by none other than Blake Lively.
Blake Lively suing the film's director and her co-star, Justin Baldoni.
Yes, Blake Lively, the actress icon, half of one of Hollywood's most beloved power couples with Ryan Reynolds. Here's the tea though. Last month, Blake filed this complaint against Justin. She claimed that he had some pretty bad behavior, including showing her photos and videos of women, opening up about a problem of viewing content of mature nature, talking about his intimate history, and even making comments about her weight. Yikes. That's some pretty heavy stuff, right? And it didn't stop there. Blake also sued him for emotional distress, claiming his actions caused her mind some stress, okay? But Justin didn't take this lightly, okay? He and his production company, Wayfarer Studios, hit back with a massive $400 million lawsuit against Blake, her husband Ryan Reynolds, and publicist Leslie Sloan. And their claim that Blake and her team are running a smear campaign to take control of the movie It Ends With Us, which Justin is deeply involved in. Now, Blake's team fired back, calling Justin's suit an attempt to flip the narrative and blame the victim. So yeah, things are messy, Hollywood level messy, and that's why it's so surprising to see Justin's fans showing up like this. Normally, when someone gets accused of this kind of stuff, Blake's claiming right now, their reputation takes a pretty big hit. People distance themselves, fans disappear, but not for Justin apparently. His female fan base is standing by him even amid all the controversy. Now, why is that? Well, let's look into it. First, it's worth noting that Justin has built up a lot of goodwill over the years. He's not just known for his acting, he's also a producer, a director, and a podcast host who talks openly about vulnerability, masculinity, and the mind.
Men, I'm not saying we have to stop being men, but we need balance. Right?
He's pretty much created an image of being a thoughtful, caring guy. So for many fans, these claims just might feel out of character and almost unbelievable. Second, let's not forget his connection to It Ends With Us. This movie has a huge following, especially among women. It's based on a best-selling book by Colleen Hoover, and fans have been eagerly waiting to see Justin bring this story to life. For some, their excitement for the movie might outweigh the controversy. And finally, let's talk about the fans themselves. For better or for worse, Hollywood controversies often divide people into two different groups, right? There are those who believe the claims and those who don't. And we've seen this before with Amber Heard and Johnny Depp. There's a lot of he says, she said until they're taken to court, right? So right now it seems like a lot of Justin fans are choosing to give him the benefit of the doubt. That said, this isn't just about fan loyalty, it's also about timing. While Blake's claims are big, the suits are still playing out and no verdict has been reached. So for many people, it's still a wait-and-see situation. Now back to the grocery store in Maui, what's interesting about this moment is how it contrasts with this drama, right? While the media is focused on the suits, Justin's out here living his life, leaning on his family and his faith and all his friends and just getting through it. He even told photographers at the airport that those three things are keeping him grounded, and I think it's probably the best route to take. But you know what else is probably helping? The love of his fans. Seriously, that kind of support has to feel good, especially when the headlines are going this crazy. And maybe that's part of why Justin took the time to stop and pose for photos. It wasn't just about being polite, it was about showing his fans that their support actually means something to him and is really important. And at the end of the day, the story is still unfolding. The suits, the claims, the Hollywood drama, there's a lot more to come. But for now, Justin Baldoni's female fans are making it clear they're sticking by him and they're not afraid to show it. Whether that changes as the story develops remains to be yet seen, but one thing's for sure, this is a headline that definitely has people surprised.
Lively's comments are coming back in the news, and it isn't for a good reason. Her past reputation as one of the mean girls in Hollywood isn't doing her any favors right now. Blake Lively has long been admired for her quick wit, bold personality, unwavering confidence. Just ask her loyal fans. Or take a look at her hilarious online banter with her husband Ryan Reynolds. But lately, her trademark sense of humor has been stopping at some serious roadblocks. One of the most talked about incidents revolves around an undated panel discussion clip that went viral on TikTok. In the video, Blake is seated next to her Gossip Girl co-star Leighton Meester. While discussing some behind-the-scenes anecdotes, Blake cracks what she clearly intended as a joke. "Well, some of us started in a cage," she says, waving her hand in Leighton Meester's direction. The audience's reaction? Stunned silence and a few awkward chuckles. Blake, perhaps realizing the crowd's discomfort, quickly backpedaled, "Come on, it was a joke, Lord have mercy."
Come on, it was a joke.
Unfortunately, her attempts to patch things up only made people more uncomfortable. Onlookers in the room and later social media commentators expressed their disapproval, calling the comment tone-deaf and insensitive. The fact that Blake's joke was directed at Leighton Meester made it all the more jarring. So for those of you who don't know, Leighton Meester was actually born in a prison. So it was a pretty mean joke. According to executive producer Joshua Safran, who spilled the beans at a Vanity Fair interview, Blake and Leighton weren't exactly BFFs in real life despite playing best friends on screen. Sure, they weren't bitter enemies, but they definitely didn't share the same warm rapport fans might have hoped for. So you can imagine how uncomfortable it must have been for Leighton to stand by while Blake made jokes at her expense. It's one thing to exchange like friendly jabs with a long-term pal. It's another to target someone who you're not really close with. Fans quickly jumped in to call Blake's joke in bad taste, with many pointing out that humor doesn't always translate well between acquaintances, especially when it digs into personal struggles. The biggest issue with Blake's cage joke is its reference to Leighton Meester's unconventional background. Leighton was born to Constance Meester, who was incarcerated and serving time for some big things. Growing up, Leighton spent her early years under her grandmother's care. This background is no secret to longtime fans, but it's still a delicate subject. Bringing it up in an offhand joke, especially in a public way, it's not a good look. Many who witnessed the viral clip felt that Blake's comment trivialized Leighton's hardships, turning them into punchlines rather than showing any empathy. After the clip made its rounds, Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram erupted with opinions. Some people posted saying that they'd never see Blake the same way again, while others argued that Blake was just trying to lighten the mood with some playful banter. Still, the overwhelming opinion leaned toward disapproval. A barrage of comments labeled Blake as insensitive, disrespectful, unfunny. The last thing you want when you already have rumors of on-set tension is to make a public fool of yourself that confirms everyone's suspicions. Yet here was Blake, caught on camera, making a remark about someone else's difficult childhood. The timing and the tone made it practically impossible for her to talk her way out of it. And this isn't the first time Blake has found herself in hot water over her words. Throughout 2024, multiple clips of her interviews have gone viral for all the wrong reasons. Whether it's the way she discusses sensitive topics or her quick, flippant retorts to seemingly harmless questions, something about Blake's delivery rubs certain fans the wrong way. Another glaring example of Blake's commentary took place during a Vogue 73 Questions segment back in July 2014. The interviewer asked her which movie made her laugh the hardest, and Blake responded without batting an eyelash with Shawshank Redemption. Cue the collective record scratch. The 1994 classic is a famously gritty tale of wrongful imprisonment, friendship, corruption. It's hailed as one of the most emotionally stirring films of all time. Not exactly a laugh-out-loud romp. The interviewer seemed amused but quickly moved on. When the clip resurfaced on TikTok, though, fans weren't so forgiving.
Movie you laughed the hardest through?
Shawshank Redemption.
They questioned if Blake had actually watched the same movie or if she was just attempting some dry, sarcastic humor and completely missing the mark. Social media erupted once again. One user commented that Blake might have been pulling Ryan Reynolds, known for his deadpan humor, but ultimately failed to deliver. Another person insisted that Blake was just trying to be ironic but flubbed the execution. Another viewpoint argued that Blake might not have had an actual answer in mind and tossed out the first random little thing she could think of, trying to appear clever or edgy. Whatever her intentions, her response was negative, with some calling her blindsidedly pretentious, others rolling their eyes at what they saw as a clumsy attempt at humor. While Blake still has plenty of superfans, the growing thread on Reddit called her cringe, demonstrating a noticeable shift in how certain corners of the internet perceive her. Some people said she's always been this way but flew under the radar because the media loved her. Now with multiple clips surfacing, people are revisiting past interviews, discovering more instances where her jokes may have landed awkwardly. Many argue that it's fine to have a sense of humor after all, it's part of what made her so likable, but you have to know when had to pivot and show respect, especially around heavy topics like incarceration and other things that shouldn't be taken lightly. The scrutiny over her comedic style also comes to a head with her recent press tour for It Ends With Us. The movie tackles heavy themes, yet Blake seemed more focused on flaunting her new healthcare line, Blake Brown Beauty, and gushing about the film's fashion. Fans felt that downplaying the serious elements of the story was another example of Blake's disconnect. A contingent of viewers and readers voiced dismay, saying she had trivialized a serious subject in favor of self-promotion. Celebrity journalist Kirsty Flabb recently posted a video titled "The Blake Lively Interview That Made Me Want to Quit My Job," garnering over 3 million views and stirring considerable buzz. The footage, taken in 2016 during an interview for Cafe Society, left watchers with a negative taste in their mouth. The tension began when Kirsty attempted to compliment Blake's pregnancy, saying, "First off, congrats on your little bump." Blake responded with a curt "congrats on your little bump," gesturing towards Kirsty.
Congrats on your little bump.
Making matters more awkward, Parker Posey, also present for the interview, asked, "What about my bump?" as she pointed to her backside.
What about my bump?
The two actresses spent much of the remaining time conversing with each other, barely acknowledging Kirsty. Their behavior struck viewers as mean-spirited rather than entertaining. Kirsty visibly struggled with the uncomfortable exchange. Nonetheless, she maintained her professionalism. Speaking with the Daily Mail, Kirsty admitted, "It hurts because I obviously wasn't pregnant and I could never get pregnant." Another moment involved Blake using a word she shouldn't have been using while chatting with Elle about the possibility of having daughters, saying she wants her kids to appreciate shoes, bags, and stories. The comment garnered a wave of online criticism. Meanwhile, rumors of a feud between Blake and her It Ends With Us co-star Justin Baldoni have gained momentum. Justin, who both directed and starred in the film, raised eyebrows when he skipped all press appearances with his castmates and steered clear of the red carpet alongside Blake. Justin has reportedly hired Melissa Nathan, the crisis PR manager known for her work with Johnny Depp, during his court battle against Amber Heard. Insiders claim Blake and Justin clashed over creative choices. Reports suggested Blake and her husband Ryan brought in an editor to assemble their preferred vision of the film, which apparently became the final cut. Rumors also circulated that Blake accused Justin of weird on-set conduct, but neither party has publicly addressed these claims. According to sources speaking to the Daily Mail, Blake is worried about her career following the continuous missteps she's had. Rumor has it she believed her new role would be her moment to shine, but now fears it could derail her career. Blake is definitely upset by the backlash. She thought this was her big opportunity, but now she worries it could end everything, said one insider. She's concerned nobody will want to work with her after this. The source added that Blake hopes to keep producing, directing, acting, but intends to pause and reconsider her next steps. Baldoni exposes Blake Lively for lying in new leaked text messages.
Justin Baldoni's attorney, Brian Friedman, plans to release even more text messages between the co-stars.
I am more than willing to take every single text message that exists out there.
Justin Baldoni's next steps in his fight against his It Ends With Us co-star Blake Lively.
Okay, so Blake's new lawsuit against Justin might not be truthful, especially since now he has come out with proof that she omitted information and that she wasn't truthful about certain things. So,
Justin Baldoni from the get-go said, "I don't want to do anything negative toward her. I don't want to hurt her."
So many lies have been uncovered, so much drama, and also certain fans and specialists are saying that they think Blake and Justin might have been in love. Guys, there's so much to unpack here, I don't even know where to start. Stay with me. Justin Baldoni's attorney just announced that they plan to release every single text message between Blake and Justin to prove that she's not telling the truth.
Every single text message that exists out there, put them on a website for the world to see.
They've already put a ton out, but now they're saying that there's more in between them. She was apparently rewriting text messages, changing the context, so it seems like he's gearing up to clear his name. Apparently there will be more actors that'll be called out as well. I wonder if this means Ryan Reynolds, because he said that he was putting him down, secretly writing scenes behind his back. What I will start with is, yes, I know a lot of people are on Blake's side, but she did lie, and I'm gonna get into that. A lot of people say that Justin gives them weird vibes, said that he started a smear campaign, but he did prove a lot of what she was saying to be untrue. Also, did you see her etiquette in certain interviews? Before I continue, I'm a Blake Lively fan. I think she's beautiful. I think she's so talented as an actor. She was also an icon in Gossip Girl. Anyway, her interviews and the way she handled herself were completely immature and tone deaf. The reporter Jake Hamilton asked Blake and her co-star, for people who see this movie who relate to the topics of this movie on a deeply personal level, they're going to want to talk to you. So if someone understands the themes of this movie and comes across you in public and they want to really talk to you, what's the best way for them to be able to talk to you about this? How would you recommend they go about it? Again, her response was just not it. She responded saying, maybe asking for like my address or my phone number or like location share. I could just location share you. Her co-star was not impressed, and honestly, a lot of other people weren't either. Why trying to be funny in this situation? And here's the thing, people are saying it's not her job to console people. She's not a therapist. It's not her job to be affected by the themes of this movie. She was just simply there to act. But she could have shown some empathy instead of making light of this. Those are real situations that people are stuck in. People who need help and support. I mean, she doesn't have to help anyone at all. And I would have respected more if she just said she can't help people instead of trying to make a joke about it. I don't think I'm being too sensitive here either. Correct me if I'm wrong. Blake has many fans that love her, but a lot of them are now saying that she's moving in such a shady way. Blake said that Justin hired a publicity firm to engage in a social smear campaign to start a campaign against her while they were promoting the film. She claimed he walked into her dressing room uninvited, but there was text messages that he showed that he was actually invited in there. Justin's legal team rebutted the claim in the actor's lawsuit, pointing to text messages from Blake that read, "I'm just pumping in my trailer if you want to work at our lines," to which Justin responded, "Copy, eating with crew, and we'll head that way." There were other comments that were apparently made by Justin Baldoni. Apparently he showed her photos as well. I can't go into too much detail here, but her accusations are pretty bad. His team has debunked a lot of them. Does that mean Justin Baldoni is innocent? No. We really don't know what happened. But Justin Baldoni was pretty well known before all of this happened, and he was an avid women's rights activist. He was a feminist. So for him to choose to do this at this time, it really doesn't make sense. And Candace Owens actually made a great point, that we should really wait to see what happens before canceling someone. As soon as we hear something in the media, it's easy to form an opinion. I did it. I was so ready to cancel Justin and defend Blake online. Now I'm unsure. Now, Blake is a big star here, and she does have a lot of support. She has a massive fan base that even stems back from back in the day when she was in Gossip Girl. Amber Heard apparently supports Blake Lively, as it was said that Justin used the same PR team to smear Blake that Johnny Depp did to Amber Heard. I don't know if this is true, but apparently it is. Amy Schumer is another Blake Lively supporter. She simply wrote, "I believe Blake." Tons of people spoke up for her. Dana Bowling had such an interesting theory. If you don't know her, she's a former casting director. She's really into pop culture. I recently discovered her, and I'm a fan. What she said is,
okay, I'm just thinking of theories here. Is it possible that Blake Lively was in love with Justin Baldoni?
When I saw the movie last week, 2 weeks ago, I texted my friend Zach and said their chemistry was palpable. Now, you may not agree, but as a former casting director, I can feel these things when you watch these films, and there's sometimes you just feel it and sometimes you don't. But when I was watching these two, they didn't feel like two people who couldn't stand each other. They felt like two people who wanted to blank. My brain might be going crazy here. Is it possible that there were feelings there? Did Ryan Reynolds jump on something there and was like, is my wife into this guy? And now I'm gonna lose it on him? Have I just lost my mind? Her theory isn't unheard of, and it's really not that crazy. It's happened many times on set that two coworkers have fallen for each other, and sometimes they're already taken. I mean, look at Angelina Jolie, Jennifer Aniston, and Brad Pitt on the set of Mr. and Mrs. Smith. Also, I don't know if you guys know this, you probably do, but when Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively met, he was married to Scarlett Johansson. Now, Blake and Ryan said they never overstepped, they were just best friends. But some fans think differently. A year after he finalized his divorce with Scarlett, he married Blake. Everyone has moved on. Scarlett is happy with her new man. Blake and Ryan are the cutest couple and loved by many. The only reason I bring this up is because when Ryan and Blake met on set, they clearly had chemistry. So Dana Bowling saying that Blake and Justin could have potentially had a thing, it's not impossible. Justin is married to a gorgeous woman who he clearly loves a lot. And again, Blake and Ryan are a beautiful couple. I don't think anyone stepped out on their relationship, especially with Blake just giving birth to her baby who she was feeding on set. Anyway, like I said, nothing is impossible, but this drama, it's just getting crazier and crazier. Justin Baldoni's team plans to release every single text between them, and it is going to be wild. This is gonna get crazy. I don't even know what's gonna happen. We'll get the real truth soon.